Hello and welcome to another unboxing video. This time I'm looking at the Airfix Douglas Boston Mk.III. Now, this kit was originally released in the early 1960s, so it's a vintage kit. This was the last release, dating from 2008. So just after when Hornby took over Airfix. Hasn't been seen since. So this is the last iteration of it. Box cover, original Roy Cross artwork. The side you have the usual information. Skill level 2. Information on the aircraft. Choice of 3 versions. Needed paints. And side views of the different markings. You can see it's Hornby. So let's take a look inside. So we've got the instruction manual, Decals, Airfix Club leaflet, and one large bag of parts. So take a look at the instructions first. So it's your basic A4 sheet. First page, some basic information on the aircraft itself, 5 languages. Next page, the usual assembly instructions, description of the assembly icons, instructions themselves. So we got 5 stages. Section 1, cockpit assembly. So we got 2 crew figures there. Section 2, joining the fuselage halves with the rear machine gunner and machine gun position and nose wheel. Section 3 is the wings and control surfaces. And as usual, for a kit of this type from Airfix, you have the option to have those movable. Section 4, you're assembling the engines and the undercarriage. And section 5, basically finishing it off. The engines, propellers, the cockpit glass, and the wheel bay doors. Now, interestingly, they give you the option of allowing the wheel bay or the undercarriage to be raised or lowered, but it seems pointless, really, because you have to glue the actual wheel bay doors into position, either open or closed. So kind of a pointless gimmick, really. Then you have the paint and decal plans. So three versions to choose from. They're not in full color, but it's still quite detailed. All the color call-outs, humble colors as usual. First version is for an RAF aircraft of 88 Squadron, based in East Anglia in 1943. And it's your basic RAF dark earth, dark green, camouflage pattern, and grey undersurfaces. Second version is again, well, actually it's South African Air Force, 24 Squadron, so based in North Africa, 1943. So this time is, I guess it's dark earth and mid-stone camouflage pattern. And I believe it's the undersurfaces are blue. Humber 157, which I don't think exists anymore. Finally, you have a USAAF aircraft. No actual unit identified, but interestingly, it's got RAF type camouflage. So dark earth, dark green. So I'm not sure the background to that aircraft. I'd have to research it. So those are the instructions. So next, the decals. Now, they're quite thin. They're reasonably clear and crisp. Color is okay. They're printed on this quite hard backing paper, quite stiff I should say, which is kind of curling up at this stage. They're not cartograph, but you know, they're not too bad. Now the parts, which I've already opened. So you have three sprues, two fuselage halves, and a bag of transparencies. Now, there's a problem with my copy of this kit. The transparencies are wrong. They're actually for, if I'm not mistaken, V25 Mitchell, not a Douglas Boston. So that's what came with the kit, obviously. So no point looking at those. The fuselage halves. So bearing in mind this is a kit from the 1960s, 1963 I believe. It's looking its age, so you have raised panel lines, lots of rivets, no interior detail. Same with the other half. I'm not so sure of the fit. I believe it's not the best. On the sprue you have the engine cowlings. The interior detail is actually not too bad, at least it's present. But you have, as you can see, you've got some flash on the propeller blades. The fabric detail on the control surfaces seems a bit heavy. You can see that's an interior bulkhead and crew seat and a very prominent ejector pin mark or two, possibly. Might need to sand that off. So, yeah. Yeah, they're quite old. This one you got the wings. I think that's the lower surfaces. wings, and again, it's heavy on rivets and raised detail. Tires, very basic. Undercarriage legs. Finally, you have the upper surfaces of the wings, again rivets. The pilot figures, I'm afraid, our crew figures are not the best. They're basically just lumps of plastic. There's no lot of flesh and pin marks and very little detail on the figures themselves. The mold seems to have degraded. So the rear gunner, he's got a seam line right down the center. So again, very much showing its age. So that is the Airfix Douglas Boston. Certainly a kit that is vintage, and made a brief appearance, a reappearance for Hornby. Has disappeared since, and probably just as well. It's definitely one for the enthusiasts, for nostalgia purposes, but by modern standards, it's really showing its age at this stage. So, thank you for watching, and see you soon.